Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about some director named David Jaffe, Jeff.
Ooh, my name is Jeff. Jeff. That's right. I said my name is Jeff. Jeff.
I'm not entirely certain how to spell his last name, and honestly, I don't care because seeing this guy over the last couple of days, it just shows me that he doesn't deserve that level of respect to be able to pronounce his last name or care about how I pronounce his last name correctly. So this asshat, I didn't know at the time, but he's the God of War director, and he also created Twisted Metal. I never played God of War, to be honest with you, but I love Twisted Metal. I played the hell out of that when I was a young kid. Played it on the PlayStation 1. That game was fun. So hats off to him for that. But dude, what the fuck, man? You are out of your mind. So if you're not familiar with this, I wasn't going to make a video initially, but the drama just started snowballing downhill. Like someone just took a pebble, the top of Mount Everest, and dropped it and just let it roll and roll and roll until it's a landslide at this point, right? Or an avalanche. So this dude, I don't know why he's doing this. If he's trying to increase his clout, trying to whatever reason stay relevant, I don't know. But this dude, I'm just telling you, is just out of his mind, and it just seems like he's an insane leftist at this point. So I saw this short little clip that I thought kind of went through things fairly well. It started with, and we'll watch the clip here in a second, but it started with David Jaffe blaming YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age of Elgar. And we all know that that's not the problem. And one of the things he was trying to say, and we'll see this in the clip here, is that because of YouTube grifters, they're going to start making games bland, bad. Well, one of the things I've heard about Dragon Age is that it is very bland because the writing is horrible and you're not able to be evil in the game, right? And it's just very vanilla, right? Which a lot of people seem to have complained about. Let's look at this clip real quick.
When you say that the gaming community ruined this game's success, I mean, I don't think that's entirely fair, but I think there is a lot of truth to it. If you're EA, you've got to kind of prepare for the market wins that you're sailing into and all that. And so they should have been prepared to counter, and they weren't. Really, at this point,
that makes no sense. It's not the market's fault that EA came out with a game that the market did not want. That's EA's fault, not the market's. I mean, come on now. That's just fucking retarded to think that the market is to blame for this.
All that gaming community that you're talking about has done is they've made it so they've actually made games worse, which is what they say they're trying to not do, because they have the charismatic grifters that make the videos that for whatever reason people respond to.
People respond to those videos because they agree with the views spouted in those videos. That's why they watch those videos. That's why all those videos get so many views. People agree. Look, if EA or any game dev doesn't want to listen to the marketplace, that's their own stupidity and their own fault when their shit fails and just dies.
Who haven't actually played this game will hate it just because they're sort of told to hate it. And so what does EA do next time? They don't make Stellar Blade. They just continue to sort of, vanilla the fuck out of everything they work on.
If they continue vanilla the fuck out of everything they work on, using his words, and they don't make Stellar Blade, well, that's their own fault. Stellar Blade is an extremely successful game with an attractive main protagonist, which happens to be a woman, and a lot of people like David Jaffe would claim we don't like women, that if a game has a female protagonist, we're going to hate it because we're going to call it woke. Well, Stellar Blade wasn't called woke. It's got a female protagonist. In fact, a lot of the best characters in that game are women. And I know that may shock you, David. I understand that, but it's true. If they're not making a game like Stellar Blade, which has a female protagonist, but great combat, and let's not forget, the character has to be attractive, right? People have to like what they're looking at. It's not just how pretty the trees are, how pretty that rock is over there.
Beautiful. You are quite a decorator. It's amazing what you've done with such a modest budget. I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Or how pretty that, the sky or the stars. No, the characters themselves have to be attractive to some degree. Now, you could purposely make a character unattractive because that could be part of their character. But for the most part, you want the main protagonist or the people you're interacting with the majority of the time in the game to be on some level attractive, not look like a dude that you just stuck a woman's head on top of, which is a lot of what you see nowadays in the gaming industry for whatever reason, at least from the Western gaming industry. So if they're not making games that appeal to the gamers and to the marketplace, that's EA's own fucking fault, not the market. So this dude just is an asset. So he also made some comments about the transgender thing, and comparing it to having a button that gets rid of all the black people. I'm not going to touch that because it's fucking retarded to begin with. But I did see this one clip from Stuttering Craig. And he's responding to David Jaffe in this clip. It's a nice little clip. Because when David Jaffe got pushback from Vara Dark, he attacked Vara and said, look, you're only in the position you're in because you're a woman. Which is fucking look, the dude's a misogynist at this point, right? I mean, that's the correct term, right? I think it is. So it's dumb. Now, we can all agree that women will have an easier time in certain spaces, at least getting into certain spaces, because they pass the eye test, I guess you could say for sure, which is the same argument I make about video games and why a lot of these characters have to be attractive, both man and woman. If you're an attractive person, whether you're a woman or a guy, you will have a lot easier time getting into a place or getting into a career field where you have to sit in front of a camera all day. People are going to like looking at you. If you're pleasant on the eye, it makes it easier for you to at least attract that initial attention. But you have to be good at your job in order to keep it. Unless you're selling pics on OnlyFans, people aren't there just for what you look at, just for what you look like. They are there for what you produce, the content you put out. To say that she's only in that position because she's a woman, because she's got nice hair and she's got a beautiful face, I think is a little disingenuous. We can all agree that it opens the door, but doesn't automatically guarantee you're going to be successful. You have to be good at what you do, and she is. And he wants to discredit any of her potential opinions and points by just saying, oh, well, you're only important because you're a woman. That's essentially what he did. Let's look at the video real quick.
Dear David Jaffe, we hope this letter finds you well, though we suspect it might just find you yelling into the void trying to figure out how to shoot the ceiling in Metroid Dread.
So he says, go back up in that room and shoot the ceiling. What? Why?
Or accusing yet another female content creator of succeeding solely based on her appearance.
You are in that chair, Vara, because of your hair and your face and your gender.
You certainly keep yourself busy.
I think she's in that chair because she bought the chair and she's probably making a video about you, which she did a very good job with, by the way.
Don't you? First off, let's take a moment to appreciate your legendary contributions to the gaming world. I mean, God of War and Twisted Metal, these are masterpieces that defined an era. Your resume is a monument to gaming excellence, and for that, we'll always be grateful. However, much like the Greek gods in your famous game, you seem to have fallen from the heavens of relevancy and are now lashing out from the depths of Olympus.
Look, based on when those games come out, I'm kind of surprised he's turned out to be like this. He seems to have really drunk the Kool-Aid of Hollywood and the leftist ideology, and he's abandoned a lot of principles. Like, I thought the left was supposed to be all about supporting women and women's rights and all this other crap, right? But the moment it starts to hurt him, what's the first thing he did? He threw all that away. He has no principles. And he attacked Vara specifically for being a woman. That just shows you the type of people we're dealing with. They have no principles. They only will stand on certain moral values and principles when it benefits them. When it starts coming back at them, they will abandon all principles and attack you the most viciously a person can be attacked. And it's really sad.
How times have changed, haven't they, David? Back in your God of War days, you gave us Kratos, an unapologetically brutal anti-hero who bed women in minigames and casual.
Yes. I mean, that game pushed the boundary, man. I mean, I never played it. So when I saw clips like that, it was earlier this year when I saw some of those clips for God of War. I was like, holy shit, they would never do that shit today in a video game. Never. This was the guy who put that in there. And now he's a little beta male. I mean, really? Are you serious? Come on now.
Actually ripped off the head of Hydrus. Fast forward to today, and you've gone so far down the ideological rabbit hole, we're not even sure you'd be able to define what a woman is.
He probably could, actually, because if he did, he'd get in trouble.
Of course you can't. The contrast is staggering. You went from pushing boundaries to bending over backwards.
Man, I wish they would put shit like this in the game again today. I really do. It doesn't have to be in every game, but shit like this would be fucking awesome. You put something like this in a game today, I guarantee you, top seller. I guarantee you, because all the guys would be so crazed out that you actually put this in the game, they would buy it to support you for having the balls to do this.
For an agenda that erases women entirely. You've become the very caricature that gamers roll their eyes at.
Yep.
Someone so consumed by their political bubble, they can't see how far removed they've become from the average person.
I mean, these are the people that, you know, for supporting women and Native Americans, they were afraid like that butter was, I can't remember the name, but it was a brand of butter that had a Native American kneeling down inside this beautiful like environmental landscape on the box, right? And they removed the Native American but kept the land. So because the Native American being there was racist and it offended these white liberals like David Jaffe, they took her away, threw her away, essentially, but they kept the land on the box. I'm like, damn, if that doesn't, just the irony of that. I'm just saying that's again, those are the types of people we're dealing with.
I mean, your remarks about Vara Dark, I mean, oh man, what a great example.
You just don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do this. You are in that chair, Vara.
She's got 138,000 subscribers. Let's look at her videos. 23K, 64K, 31K, 28K, 15K, 26K. I think she's doing pretty good. She's doing a lot better than me. I think she knows how to do this. I think she's doing a pretty damn good job at doing this.
Because of your hair and your face and your gender.
By accusing her of succeeding solely due
Such a fucking pig, I'm telling you.
to her appearance, you not only undermine her hard work, but also expose the hypocrisy of your so-called progressivism.
Exactly. Those comments alone, any hard work she put into growing her channel, gone. He discredits it with those types of statements.
For someone who claims to stand for equality and inclusion, you're surprisingly quick to diminish a woman's success based on shallow assumptions. I'm just saying. Hey.
And these people do that. Just look after Trump was reelected in this past election. The very next day, when they realized that a lot of Latino men voted for Trump more than they were expecting, all the liberals, all these progressives on X, and even on the news stations, were slamming these Latinos, saying they wanted them to get deported, even though they're legal, law-abiding citizens. I mean, because if they weren't, they couldn't vote, right? Now, I mean, they were insulting these people purely because they didn't vote the way they wanted them. They took that Latino group and said, okay, you're not useful to me anymore. Bye-bye. It just shows you, again, the principles of the type of people we're dealing with.
You may not claim to represent today's gamers, but your actions showcase every issue plaguing the industry.
Yep.
A refusal to engage with opposing players,
Yep.
a fixation of ideology purity over practical solutions,
Yep.
and a complete inability to connect with the customer.
Yep.
But David,
exactly.
don't get us wrong.
All these game devs nowadays have those same three problems. Always. And they cannot listen and connect with the game, with their fan base, or I don't want to say fan base. They can't listen and connect with the customer base. And that's the problem with Concord, which you can see there in the background. That's the problem with Dragon Age the Veilguard. I mean, they don't want to listen. If you voice any other opinion, they will insult and slander you as much as they possibly can to discredit you. So they can continue to live in their little bubble world, feel good about themselves, and listen to their echo chamber while it's all screaming and telling them, you're right, slay queen, you go girl, stuff like that.
We don't hate you. Actually, quite the opposite. We see you as a fascinating case study in how not
Okay, well, I don't know about you, Craig, but I hate these people because of what they stand for. I really do. These people are evil, and they're a blight on this earth.
to age gracefully in the gaming industry after you've made it big.
Go fuck yourself, lady. My mind is fine.
But let's be real. You're not going to
Are we sure about that? I mean, we've listened to these comments. Are we really sure his mind is fine? Because if his mind is fine, then our only other assumption is that he's a misogynist and he's probably also a racist bigot.
change. You're going to keep doubling down on bad takes, picking fights you can't win, and blocking anyone who dares to pop your bubble, and that's fine. Really, gamers have moved on, and the only person you're embarrassing at this point is yourself. Your legacy may be secure, but your relevance, It's gone.
Yeah.
P.S. Next time you struggle with a tutorial, there's no shame in Googling a walkthrough. Actually, yeah, there is. Don't do that shit.
Hey, I will Google a walkthrough if I'm stuck. There's nothing wrong with that. Come on, Craig. Come on. I loved how he did this. He was all talking in the background, and anytime he was on the picture, he never talked himself like the picture didn't. He just kind of shook his head. I thought it was very well done. I like the video. But I mean, you see the type of people we're dealing with in the gaming industry nowadays, right? These people, if your game fails, they're blaming the fans. That's essentially what's happening. Okay, and they hate you. I mean, we see this currently with the whole Asmongold and I can't remember the name of that game. Yeah, Mouthwasher. We see this with Asmongold and the mouthwashing situation currently. The devs hate you, and it always falls back on a lot of times political bullshit because their politics, they're activists, right? So their politics are going to most likely not completely align with yours. And even if it does, let's say you align 99% with their politics. That 1% is enough for them to hate you and cancel you. So these are activists. They're people that are destroying the Western game industry. They don't need to be there. And we need to keep calling them out every time we see this crap because it's fucking absurd. So, yeah, that's all I got for you today, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.